Before we get too farther, I guess we need an injury update if you've got one on.
Man, I need an injury update.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, not for me, for our kids. Yeah, I think we'll know more today. The big names, Brock, Norton, I think both guys still, we're not 100% obviously. Sunday, where those guys will be, not sure. But I think today's practice will tell us a lot. Easton Dean, same boat. Easton was very limited last week, and then Reeder very much similar in the same boat. Now Reeder was a lot better on Sunday than maybe what we thought he was going to be. So I think we're hopeful for him in terms of where he's at both now and going forward.
Okay, with that going forward, then with that in mind, you've got 6 regular season games left. What can you do is there anything you can change to kickstart the offense, whether it's players, formations, plays,
Sure.
staff, I don't know, anything. Just anything.
Well, I don't think any of those things in terms of, first of all, we know we've had success even this year at times on offense. I think we've been juggling a lot of different players and trying to figure out, number one, who and what gives us the best opportunity to be successful. I think it's a work in progress, and you've seen that be a work in progress. Do I have faith that we will get where we need to be offensively? I really do. We have talented players. Obviously, you have the same coaching staff that's had elite success here on the offensive side of the football. So, I think you just continue to do everything in your power, week in and week out to put exactly what you said, Randy. Who are those players that are available to you? And let's do everything in our power to continue to try to put those guys in the best position to be successful.
If, in fact, you are limited again at the running back position, is there, going back to the changes thing, is there any thought to running Hunter some more or no? Or on
well, he ran a little
design.
bit last
I know,
week,
yeah, exactly. On called plays.
Yeah, I think those are always options. I think the biggest thing for us is, again, you're still trying to put yourself schematically in the best situation to be successful, and schematically it worked out for him to be able to do that, and kind of loosens things up at times. So the answer is Hunter can run, and yes, the reality of where does it come in the game? How do you design that? You're always trying to do what's in the best interest of the team and give him the best opportunity to be successful as well.
Kind of along that same line, I'm interested, just as teams have been able to get film on Hunter and be able to game plan from him, how have you seen maybe the way defenses are attacking you guys change as the season has gone along?
Yeah, again, I don't know if it's so much of what defenses are doing as much as it is, at times some of the inconsistencies that we've had. You look back at the game, it's like, man, where you want to point the finger? You got guys open. Either, man, we're not protecting good enough. We're a hair off in terms of catching the ball. You're a hair off on the run. You're a hair off. So, to me, that's what's hard about it right now offensively is it's inconsistent. And it's kind of what I said after the game Saturday. And I think that's a good thing, too. There's not a finger to blame. I think everybody involved in it says, man, we got to be better. You've seen plenty of times this season where that group has played at a really high rate, and you're looking for that consistency. And again, when you have young players or people doing their role for the first time, sometimes you're going to get inconsistency, and I think that's what you're seeing over the course of the last couple of weeks. And we have to be better. We can't shy away from it. And then we as coaches got to continue to find the best ways to help them be the most consistent they can be. So yeah, that's really the reality of that situation.
For Norton, is there a point where you guys start looking at capping him at 4 games? No. He'll play when he's available.
When he's ready to roll.
For you guys, what's the duality between the frustration of losing close games and maybe, I think you mentioned it last week, the optimism of feeling like you're close to winning those games?
Well, I think naturally when you work really hard at what we do and in our sport, you only get 12 guaranteed shots at it. It's not like, man, I used to always say this about basketball. Man, basketball, you can play bad on Tuesday and you get to play again on Friday and you get to play the game, and you get 30-some shots to play. And in football, you only get 12. So I think there's always a natural frustration when you don't win the game. But I also think we've always looked at the global picture, and we'll be defined by our success at the end of the season or lack of success at the end. And we know there's a process to get to that point. And, I think that's one of the great rewards about this team is, man, there is a lot of young guys, and you see drastic improvement from game 1 to 6. And the veterans that came back here, and I think I said this before the start of the season, what do I love about this leadership group and this senior class, maybe the best one we've had, is, man, their whole purpose has been to lead. And leadership is not just when it goes good, the ability to lead when maybe you're not exactly getting the result. And when those guys are playing their best football, I think that's what's really powerful, and I think that's why it gives you so much optimism. And I think it's why it gives our team optimism. You know, I think there's been a really good buzz. There was a great buzz on Sunday when we went to the meeting room of, man, here's what it is, here's where we're at, and here's how we got to go forward. So, you know, I think there is a very confident room, and I think a room that's continued to work at their craft to continue to plug away to, man, figure out the answers to get us over that hump.
In that same vein, with a young team, what is the challenge for you as a staff, for those leaders? How is it different to deal with a 3-game losing streak with a young team versus adversity for an older, more experienced team?
Well, I think it's a good challenge for us too, right? I mean, I think as a coach, you know, you're kind of used to, you know, man, some of that veteranness that you've had in some of those key areas over the course of, man, even the last 4 or 5 years, you know, and now, you know, you're kind of, man, you're in some new guys that are growing in their roles. And, you know, again, I think it's so easy to get into the mode as a leader and as a coach of, man, you're result driven. And I think, I'll be honest with you, there's probably been courses over the last 6 years as our program's grown where we've lost our way at times because we get so result driven rather than understanding our number one role and responsibility is to teach and grow the players in our program and to grow the players in our meeting room. So I do think one of the best things that I've seen from our coaching staff so far is they have done a great job staying the course, staying poised, and really doing a great job teaching our young guys. So it's a great challenge for everybody involved, and honestly, I think we all knew that going into the season. But man, again, you're really grateful to go to work every day and be in at least the culture that we're fortunate to have right here, right now, to handle, man, not being exactly where you want to be at the end of the scoreboard on a Saturday.
Matt, the injuries in the running back room are an obvious reason why production may be a little bit down, but how much is it also a function of falling behind early, limiting what you're able to do and allowing defenses to kind of load up against it?
Yeah, you know, I think that's been, you know, if you say what's one thing that's been a rhythm to the last couple games, man, you've been playing catch up at times. You know, now I thought one thing we did a really good job of maybe last Saturday compared to what I would have said, you know, just being critical of ourselves is, you know, man, we still did a good job trying to lean on the running game throughout, you know, the course of the first half of the football game. And, you know, I think that obviously not being down 2 scores helped that situation. But, you know, again, that's where, man, our defense plays phenomenal. But, man, that play on 3rd and 5, that's a broken play. And it's like, man, you know, you're kind of, man, you're back up against the wall a little bit. And you're kind of going. And so, yeah, nature of the beast, and it is what it is. But again, I think all those things are going to help us as we continue to grow. It's going to help our players. It's going to help us as coaches. And I think it is the situation it is. So I do think that's been unique, you know, to the last 3 weeks, and I think probably has challenged us at times.
I went back and watched the play Anthony Johnson made a few times, and you weren't being hyperbolic. How much does that epitomize kind of who you need to be? A play that he said a little bit of a busted coverage, but he does everything he can, seemingly an impossible situation, to chase it down.
Yeah, you know, I said this Sunday, Rob. I mean, when I'm done here, I hope that play epitomizes our time here at Iowa State, right? Like, you know, it's what we've coached. It's what we hope to be. And he is what we said we're about as coaches. I mean, you look where he's come from. He come into our program at 170 pounds. He's a 205-pound man. He's a senior. He's graduate, first person in his family to graduate. This guy, that play, and then go back and watch 3rd and 2. And watch the play that he makes in the run game and throws his body in and literally just single-handedly makes the play. And man, that's who we want to be. That's what we want our program to be about. And so to me, it's 2 of the greatest plays I've seen a player individually make, in this stadium. And, it's not talent, it's elite effort, it's elite consistency, it's playing the same way all the time. And man, he is playing elite football right now for our football team. And, it goes back to the question, it's a great question, why are you not panic and why do you have great belief? Because I see that. Because I watch how our kids play. I know what they're playing like. It gives you great confidence in knowing that, man, you can't wait to get back in the room and solve whatever small challenges we got. Man, we got to solve them. But, those plays, those situations, it makes you really proud to be their coach, and it makes you really proud of who he is. And like I said, I hope it defines what our time here has been about and who we want to be and continue to grow forward in is those plays.
Hey, Matt. Texas has run, some 11, 12, a little bit of 13, and then some 20 from what I've looked at as well. What potentially differences or challenges does that really present schematically for a defense and you guys that are playing really well right now?
Man, this is, we've played a lot of good Texas teams since we've been here, and I would say this is the best that we've played. I mean, what they've done at the tight end position, I would say maybe one of the best tight ends that's playing right now in at least in the Big 12. You look at what that offensive line has done. Not only do they play 12 and 20, they also bring in a 6 tackle with a 82 number on, which is a really good blocker as a tight end. So they've done a great job. It's kind of like, man, they've gotten to where they want to be in terms of having those playmakers and kind of putting this offense to where it wants to be. And it is a challenge. I mean, we're not going to shy away from it, but also a great opportunity for us. I mean, we're going to have to continue to match some of the personnel stuff as we need to throughout the football game. But, again, a great challenge for our defense. And we've been fortunate here to play great offenses and have those great challenges. So it'll be another great challenge Saturday for sure.
Matt, I guess I was just curious more from a broader perspective on Texas. I mean, we've talked for weeks now about how good the Big 12 is, and you see a result like the one they put up on Saturday, it's kind of pops off the page. Just what are your feelings from a kind of that 10,000-foot view on what Texas has kind of done this season? Yeah,
I think, again, a lot of credit to their staff. I think they've gone out and, put together a team that really represents obviously what some of the elite programs in the country have, or, highly talented offense and defensive lines. Obviously a quarterback that, is coming back off injury, but has played really well early in the season and played really well again on Saturday. And then you got playmakers at all the skill positions. And so, I a lot of credit to them. I think they do a great job coaching and certainly have done a really good job putting the nucleus of this football team together. And, you're talking year 2. So, they've done a really good job of aligning to certainly what they want to be and where they want to go.
You guys had 3 former players score touchdowns on Sunday in different games. For one, how cool is that for you as their former coach to see them doing that every game you turn on? There's a former Cyclone having success, but then 2, how valuable is that for you guys as a program, not only to have people in the league, but to have people that are having success every week?
Yeah, we kind of chuckled on Sunday. Jared, you said, man, I texted Brees. I said, man, can you send 100 of those yards back to us a little bit? You know what I mean? But no, you couldn't be prouder of those guys. I mean, what Allen's doing, obviously, what Brees is doing, all these guys. And that was missing, and that, Jared. I mean, man, we that was one thing that I think hurt us at times as we were building our program is, man, the NFL piece of it, and it takes time. You got to develop those guys, and you got to recruit those guys, and now to see these guys being not only playing, but like you said, man, being marquee players at the next level, it's awesome, and you're really proud of them. You're really grateful that they've been in your program. They're such key humans to even who we are right now. I mean, Brees texting the running backs after every game. I get a text from Allen after every. It's just like you're grateful to have what we have, and you're really proud of what those guys are doing because it does certainly continue to benefit us in a great way.
We've talked about Will being productive even if he's not getting sacks, but how big is the difference when he is able to get to the quarterback? And it seemed like after that first sack on Saturday, he celebrated like a guy who had missed getting sacks every week.
Yeah, I think a little bit of benefit in what you're seeing too is a little bit of the production of the other guys around him too, right? And I think that's something that early in the season was an unknown. So much was getting slid at him, and now all of a sudden you see some of these other guys having production and proving that they can handle it. And I think that's helped Will out a lot. I mean, nobody works harder at his craft. I was teasing our coaches. It was late on Monday night, and man, who's the guy that's still in the facility working on his craft? It's Will. And I mean, I think the thing that I appreciate about him is how hard he plays, and to watch the results come. And as I said, I watched the videotape. I thought he was playing really well. I know, the sack number is a big thing, but man, for him to get that and get rewarded for that, I think it's awesome. But I think he's playing really great football right now for us, for sure.
What's a healthy Remsburg mean for you?
Man, I think if you say what was a huge positive from Saturday, offensively was getting Jake back. Jake played maybe 15 plays in the Kansas game, just trying to get his feet back a little bit. Jake was playing incredible in fall camp, and I think that was one thing that was like, dang, you lost a guy that was playing so good just because he had already come off of injury. And really the plays that he played on Saturday were high end, and so I think it gives us a lot of confidence moving forward. Again, that's nothing against Grant Triber, because Grant has played really solid football for us and done a really great job, but I do think it's big for us to get Grant back, get his confidence back, and get his consistency back. I think it'll be huge for this football team moving forward, obviously.
There was one more thing, and I meant to ask it when I was asking earlier about the offense. There were situations late in the game where Hunter was just a yard or two off on throwing for third down, throwing for on third and short, third down yardage, and they were just 1 or 2 yards short. Is that on Hunter? Is that on the receiver? Is that on both? Is it on the defense? Or
yeah, no. I look at that, and man, I'm more thinking of, man, you look at it and we're in the red zone. It's 3rd and 7, and we get a drop ball. Great play, right? Man, you're the play the next play before it. There's leakage in the protection. Jalen runs an incredible route. He's wide open. We're probably going to hit it, and we're probably going to score, literally. And man, the protection's a hair off. You're talking the next one, man, we get a scramble, he does a great job, boom, and man, we don't make the play. And so, again, I think right now you can overanalyze everything. When you sit there and really look at it and dissect it, man, we're really close. The consistency of every facet of us offensively right now needs to be better. And I think that's the thing that's rewarding, is we all have work to do. We all have to pitch in and work together. The positive is we've got the players. We know how to get it done, and we've done it. It's just doing it with great consistency, and that's what we're lacking.
You're talking about overanalyzing. Is this where you need to bring the ice cream truck back, or the water fight?
Whatever we got to do, I'm willing. No. I think the reality of it is, no, I think you had to do that because you had to get people to buy in at times. Our kids are bought in. They believe, and they really care. And that's the thing that I really appreciate. And that's why I know, man, we're gonna get there, and it's just a matter of when, and it's a matter of getting there. And again, that's my responsibility and our responsibility, and we're not hiding from it. We're going to try to do everything in our power to go right through it. Boy, I mean, really it started with Zach. I'll be honest with you. It started with Zach really in fall camp. I mean, he earned the right to play. Zach had a great fall camp. Zach is a great story. I don't know if you guys have written on Zach yet or not, but I would say would be one of the great stories and one of the great seniors, because that kid has been through, man, he's been through hell and back. I mean, you're talking 3 what for most kids would have been career-ending injuries. He's been through a lot, and that guy is, again, you go back to your seniors playing their best football their senior year. This guy had a great fall camp, really challenged the right to get on the field. He earned the right to get on the field. I think he's played pretty much 15 to 20 plays in every game, and he is playing with great consistency. And when you're looking for consistency, the guys that are playing the most consistent need to be on the field. And so I think he's earning the right to be on the field more for our football team, and just really proud of him. Man, he's also been the anchor on that punt team. You know, you saw a group that was a little bit not where they needed to be early to where you'd say, man, that group has a chance to be really special by the end of the season, and continues to try to prove that week in and week out. And he's been the anchor there for us as well. So his consistency has been awesome.